Hello everyone, DW Rugs back again with another video. I'm in my studio today. I'm actually going to be moving soon, so I'm starting to clear things out. And I'm back in the hoodie. I've seen a couple comments about that, so I'm just gonna keep running it. I'm just gonna make it my thing to be the guy in the hoodie. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I turned rug tufting into a business. I'm going to run through kind of from where I started to where I am now, and I'm going to include a lot of the supplies that I had to acquire in order to do so, and then also how to just market your business overall and the different ways that you are able to do that. So I'll start with kind of just reflecting on how I initially got started, which I've mentioned in a previous video before, but just to give you a short rundown. I discovered rug making on TikTok, as I'm sure a lot of other people did, or maybe you're discovering it through my YouTube, which is even better. And so, I just spent a lot of time researching where to get materials and things like that. And I just thought it was really cool, and I wanted to just make a couple rugs for myself and maybe some friends, and then just kind of have that as more of like an artistic hobby, just something that I can do whenever I have some free time. And so I initially started with the Frank Ocean Blonde rug, as I've mentioned before, and then I got commissioned by my roommate, and that's when I decided to actually start turning it into a business. Now, when I first started, I was doing it by hand with a punch needle. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but there are a few creators on YouTube that do that, and it turns out amazing, but it takes a long time to do it. My rugs now take on average like 5 to 6 hours, but when I first did that rug, it was probably a week's worth of work, and I was working on it. It was probably like 30 hours that it took me to finish that. But anyways, so I got commissioned by my roommate, and then that's when I kind of decided to start turning it into a business. And so I had an old Instagram that I just posted like random images on that I thought were cool. And I kind of turned that into my rug page. It had already had like 50 followers or something, just some close friends of mine. And so I turned that into the rug page, and that's kind of what started it. And then I went and ordered the actual tufting gun. I got it on eBay and started making rugs from there. And I just started by making rugs that interested me. I think I did another Frank Ocean Blonde one, and then I did a Travis Scott Rodeo album cover one, and just kind of to get some material out there. I would say the first step, if you don't have any customers, is to make rugs that just interest you, whether that be an album cover or a face or a logo or whatever it may be. And just, I would say, start on Instagram, make an Instagram page and post the rugs that you've made on there. Another key thing that you can do is that you can give rugs away to people. So whether that be your friends or your roommates or your family, that way it just gets the word out there of what you're doing, and people discover it and they go, oh my gosh, can I buy one? And that's kind of how it went for me. Is once I started posting those initial rugs that I had worked on, people started hitting me up for their own, and that's what kind of started the whole business. Luckily for me, I had people that were willing to purchase, and that's what kind of took it off for me. Now, when that started to pick up is when I realized that I kind of needed to up my studio game, and I needed to get way more organized with the way that I was doing things. And obviously I'm still refining that process today, but there's a lot of costs that you may not realize that you need until later on, and that's kind of what happened to me. For example, the shipping process. I was very unaware of that at first, and I had to buy boxes, and I had to buy a scale, and I had to buy all these things to weigh the packages and get it all shipped out. And then you also just have to be very organized with your orders, whether that be just a note in your phone or an actual spreadsheet. Just be sure to keep track of orders and whether or not the person has paid and how much they owe and everything like that. The number one thing is to be organized. If you're organized or you're a naturally organized person, it's going to be a lot easier for you to do this as a business. So the biggest part of turning this into a business is how you're able to market yourself and how you're able to market your rugs. So for me, like I said, I started with the Instagram. And as the Instagram started to grow and get a lot of organic followers, that's when more and more people would start to hit me up. Now, for the first, I would say, 6 months or so, the majority of it was people that I knew and just friends of mine in San Diego or friends back home in Wyoming or whatever it may be. That's what helped me to grow initially. So it's key to stay consistent on whatever platform you're posting on. I think Instagram is the best one to market yourself now, especially that you can create reels as well. Reels do really well for me. They get a lot more views than normal and a lot more likes than normal. And I know a lot of that is probably just Instagram's algorithm, but it helps with the exposure nonetheless. Then another big one is TikTok. TikTok is tricky because it's kind of hit or miss. You don't really know if your stuff is gonna blow up or not. But if you stay consistent and your videos are polished and they're good to go, then you may have something that hits. I've had one in particular that hit, I don't know, 20,000 views or something like that, and I got a couple orders from it, and I can show it here on the side as well, just so you can kind of see the format that I choose. It's also important to use, you know, songs that are trending or songs that are related to what you're actually doing. The one that I had that went up was a Mac Miller face rug, and so obviously I used a Mac Miller song, and I think just using that popular sound alone helped it grow a lot. And then you also have to pay attention to what your caption is and what you're hashtagging as well. And this goes for any platform, because you want your caption to not be too long and make people interested in what you're doing. So I usually keep it short and sweet and say Mac Miller face rug, Mac Miller custom face rug, all in caps with a couple emojis, and then you hashtag Mac Miller and you hashtag the names of his albums and stuff like that. And so that's kind of just basic, you know, social media marketing. Another thing that you can do is a website. Now, my website journey has been a bit tricky because when I first made a website, I made a Squarespace website where people could actually go onto the website and purchase a rug. I spent about 2 weeks making rugs of just random designs that I thought were cool, and then listed them on that website for people to purchase. Now, the problem was I didn't realize that I was just making rugs that I liked and not everyone else would necessarily like. So I didn't actually make a lot of sales on the website. I think I only made 2 sales in the time that I had it up. I only had the website up for like 2 or 3 months. And the problem with that was that I was paying a monthly fee of like 25 or 30 bucks a month through Squarespace just so that I was able to even have sales on the website. And so if I'm only selling 2 rugs within that 3-month period, then that's not a really good financial decision for me. So I shut the website down. And what I did instead, and what I recommend to you, is my roommate is a software developer, and has experience with websites and things like that. And so I got him to make me a website, and it's still a work in progress, but I will just show a couple photos here of what it looks like. And so how I have it formatted is just kind of about me and who I am and how I started. And then rather than an actual shop page, I just have a gallery. And the gallery just shows all the different rugs that I've done throughout my entire career. And that way, if people go on the website, they can see something that they might like or that gives them an idea for their own rug. And they'll be like, oh, let me message this guy. And so I'll just tell people, you know, message me on Instagram or whatever. And then along with that, I have just a contact form. So that way I'm not paying for any type of shop. The people will look at the gallery, and then if they're interested, they either hit me up on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it may be. And then they can go to the contact page, and it goes directly to my email where they can send me a request for a rug. Now that ultimately depends on what you want to do, right? Because I've seen a lot of other rug creators that make their own custom designs and they mass produce them. They might have like 10 or 20 at a time, and then they'll put that on their website, and that probably does well for them. But my entire rug business has basically been commissions, because people are consistently hitting me up with commissions, so I don't really have time to make my own custom designs. I've made a couple that I could picture here, but overall it's just been commissions, and that's what's been working out for me. So ultimately you have to decide what you want to do. Now, if you're able to balance both, then that's great. I would recommend that. But then you have to figure out your costs, because like I said, for me, I was only making 2 sales in those 3 months based off of the designs that I had done. And if I'm paying $25-30 a month for the website to have the shop feature, it wasn't really working out for me. But if you're gonna make up to 10, 15, 20 sales on your website a month or every 2 months, it's only costing $20, $25 a month to run it, then that works out great for you, and you could do that. But I just like the thought of having more of a gallery, and then giving people the option to contact you. I think that makes it a little more personal with the customer as well, because then you can have a conversation with them to figure out what they like and whatnot. So another key part of the marketing is you have to interact with your customers and the people that are, liking and commenting on your various social media pages. Now, sometimes I lack in this and I need to get better at it, but I really focus with this on YouTube, because when you interact with the customer, it helps drive the overall engagement. And it also just makes it more personable for the person hitting you up, because if someone comments, "Whoa, this was insane, you're amazing at this," it probably feels pretty good for you, but it also would feel pretty good to them if you just hit them back and said, "Thank you so much, I appreciate it." Makes it more personal. And that's how you can grow your audience overall, is just being kind and reaching out to those that support you. Now, another thing that I have done on the marketing side that I would also recommend is make free rugs for people or businesses or things that you like. The first example of this that I did was, there is a snowboarding podcast called The Bomb Hole. And if you're into snowboarding or action sports, you may or may not know what that is. But it's just a podcast where they bring on pro snowboarders or people in the snowboarding industry. And I tune into it a lot because I'm well versed in the snowboarding industry, and I have a lot of friends who are professional snowboarders, and so I always tune into that. And so what I did one day is I just took their logo and I just made a rug of it. I had no idea if they were gonna see it. I had no idea if they were even gonna read the message or like it or anything. I just took a shot in the dark and I made a rug of their logo. I can put up a picture here. And just DM'd it to them and put it on my story, and luckily they responded and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Send it to this address, blah, blah, blah." Sent it to them, and then I was pretty lucky, and they posted it on their main channel and had a whole video of them pulling it out of the box and everything, and posted a photo of one of their dogs on it, and it remains in their studio to this day, which is pretty cool. And through that, I gained probably 100 followers within a day, and I got tons of messages of people hitting me up to make them a rug. So, luckily for me, they responded, right? And so I would make sure that if you're going to do that, be sure that you have somewhat of a chance that they'll actually see it and respond, because you don't want to make this, custom rug for someone having not told them, and then they don't even respond, and then you just have it. So I got lucky there, but moral of the story is, people appreciate things like that. And if it helps not only them in the fact that they got something for free and now they have for my case, a new decoration for their podcast studio, then that's great, because then I also in return got a lot of followers and engagement and a lot of rug orders as a result. So yeah, whether it be your favorite YouTuber or, artist or whatever it may be, there are ways you can go about it. It's tougher with big name, let's say artists, for example, because, they don't often check their DMs or their stories. But you can figure out, what's their manager's email, what's their agent's email, and just there's ways to go about doing it. Or maybe you just post it and say, I made this rug for someone, and they don't even see it, but then it still blows up, and then you still get customers because of it. Just experiment and figure out what works for you. That kind of ties into the next part of the marketing, and that is figure out what works for you. So for me, it started out with a lot of album covers, and I really enjoyed doing those, but I didn't want to just do album covers. And so I transitioned that into face rugs because I saw, a couple of rug creators doing those, and then those drove a couple more sales. And I think ultimately where I'm at right now, I have a mixture of things. I can do faces or business logos or whatever it may be. But as you may know from looking at my Instagram or my YouTube, a lot of people are interested in the car rugs. And so once I figured out that kind of worked, and since the car community is so tight and they're so supportive, then, I was able to get a lot more sales because of that. And to this day, I've already made 2 rugs in the past few weeks for the holidays, 2 car rugs. Now that I know that works, I'm just going to keep pushing that. There's a huge car community here in San Diego, especially in Rancho Santa Fe. They have a Cars and Coffee, so I'll go there and just talk to people. And, if it's able to be brought up, show them examples of your work. You really just have to be interactive with the people. I would say it's best to just communicate. So, just interact with people. Interact, whether that be face-to-face, meeting people, or online, whatever it may be, just talk to people. And a lot of times you could probably get a sale or get some kind of promotion from someone, there's a lot of ways to go about it. So kind of going back to the more logistical side of the, sitting on my frame and nails are getting stuck in my pants. Kind of going back to the logistical side of things, turning it into a business. I know I didn't go over that well, but like I said, I think it's good to watch my rug tufting setup where I went through this entire studio with all my products, because that gives you kind of a sense of what your overall cost is going to be, because since I do run it as a business, that's what my costs are. But yeah, stay organized. That's key. Stay organized. And also make sure that you make time for yourself. I've been caught up a lot where, for example, one time I went back home on summer break and racked up a lot of rug orders on Instagram because, you don't want to turn people down, but you also have to be realistic with them. And I gave them a very short timeline. And so I ended up having to go back and make 12 rugs within a week because I had promised all these people to make them, and luckily I got it done, but I don't want to have to go through something like that again. So it's important to be organized, especially with your time, and make time for yourself and make sure that you're not overworking yourself. And then be sure that you have your overall materials dialed when it comes to shipping. In that video I mentioned the scale that I bought on Amazon and where I get my boxes from as well. What I find works best for me, because of the size of this frame being 3x3, is I found boxes that were 3 feet long by 6 inches by 6 inches. And the rugs, when you roll them up, they fit in there perfectly. And so another nice touch that I'll add into this as well is oftentimes when I package my rugs, I'll leave a little note that says thank you for the order and also how to take care of it. You can vacuum it, and I'll tell people too, it's art. So although it is a rug, it is art. So, you have to take care of it. But it's nice to just add that personal touch, a handwritten note. Or also, I haven't done this yet, but I'm planning on doing it soon. I see a lot of creators as well. They put tags on the back of their rugs, which makes it a little more personal as well, a little more professional. Because you want to be as professional as possible if people are going to be spending hundreds of dollars on your product. So another thing to look out for on the marketing side is keep track of your analytics. So with Instagram, you can turn your account into a business account, and then you can view all of your insights, whether that be how many likes and comments, but then it also will tell you how many saves, how many people sent it to someone, what your demographic is, the age of the people that are looking at it. Just there's so many things that they provide you that can give you a sense of what people like and what people don't like, or what kind of people like it. And then also with YouTube Studio is great because I'm able to track, how well a video I just posted is doing compared to my other videos, whether it's staying on average or whether it's better or whether it's below. And if it's below, then I probably won't cover something like that again. Or if it's really good, then I will think about doing another video like that. So yeah, keep track of your insights and your analytics. Use the tools that these platforms give you because it'll help you a lot. But also be sure to tap into your creative mind because, sometimes something will blow up not for a reason that you think. And if you just remain creative and remain true to yourself, I think that is even better. So last thing I'll kind of mention, and this is kind of in regards to pricing and payment, is make sure you make it clear what your payment options are. So for me, I accept Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, Cash App, cash if it's in person, any of those things. Just be sure that you make your customers aware of that. And also, if you choose to do so, sign up for all those accounts. They're all free, and it just gives your customers more options, and it'll help them out at the end of the day, and it'll help you out as well. So I hope I covered everything that I was thinking of, and I hope this helped you kind of get a perspective of my business perspective when it comes to rug tufting. If there's anything else you guys would like to know, leave it in the comments. I'd like to do another Q&A video as well in case I missed anything on these tufting tips videos. But I'm going to continue doing these tufting tips videos because I think people are enjoying them, and I think it helps me reflect on my process, and then if it helps others build their business or whatever it may be, then that's great too. So yeah, once again, kind of all over the place. I'm going to try to get more organized with these videos because sometimes I feel like I just ramble and ramble and ramble, but if this helps you in any way, that's good. Just be sure to be organized and be sure to have your social media presence dialed and refer back to all the marketing tips I just previously talked about. I'm no expert, but I am a marketing major currently, and so I have a good sense of, how to use social media specifically in order to drive engagement and things like that. So again, thank you for tuning in. I hope this helps. This might be the last video you see in this studio. I'm not sure yet. I'm moving in about a week or two. So I'm gonna try to stay consistent with the posting, but if I miss a week, forgive me because I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be moving, and then I'm going to be going back to Wyoming for Christmas with my family. But yeah, anyways, thank you for tuning in. As always, leave a comment if you have any other questions, and thank you for the support. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers. I think we're at like 1830, something like that. I don't know, but we also just hit 100,000 views total, which is insane. I'm super grateful for that. So yeah, thank you so much, and I will catch you on the next video.